Most people have heard about the greatness of the Benin Kingdom, but very few understand how such a powerful kingdom was brought down. To understand its fall, you have to go back to a time when empires were not just built with culture, but with control. By the late 1800s, the British Empire was expanding rapidly across West Africa. This expansion wasn't random. It was driven by one goal: economic dominance. Palm oil, ivory, rubber. These were valuable resources power industries in Europe, and controlling trade routes means controlling wealth. But there was a problem. Benin was not like other regions. It was organized, independent, and tightly controlled by its ruler, the Oba. Foreigners were not free to enter. Trade was regulated. Power remained within the kingdom. To the British, this was unacceptable. They wanted direct access, they wanted influence, and most importantly, they wanted control. Tension between Benin and the British didn't appear overnight. It built slowly over years of frustration, blocked trade, and failed negotiations. And then came the moment that changed everything. In January 1897, the British official named James Phillips, acting as Consul General, planned a journey to Benin City. Officially, it was described as a peaceful visit, but many historians believe otherwise. Some suggest the mission was intended to pressure the Oba, to force open trade and weaken his authority. No, there was just one issue. The Oba of Benin, Oba Ewuare and Benin, had not approved this visit. In fact, warnings were sent. At the time, Benin was observing sacred ceremonies. During this period, outsiders were forbidden from entering the city. The message was clear: do not come. But Phillips ignored the warnings. He and his delegation continued their journey towards Benin territory. They never made it safely. As the group approached, they were ambushed by Benin warriors. Several members of the British party were killed. To the British Empire, this was more than an attack. It was an opportunity. Within weeks, plans for retaliation were set in motion. But this was not just revenge, it was strategy. A large military force was assembled, equipped with modern weapons, rifles, machine guns, and trained soldiers. This operation would be known as the Benin Expedition of 1897. When British forces arrived, the difference in firepower was clear. Benin's warriors were brave and organized, but they were not equipped to face modern European weapons. The invasion was swift and devastating. Resistance came, but it wasn't enough. Benin City was eventually captured, but what followed was not just conquest, it was destruction. The city was set ablaze. Homes were burned, shrines were destroyed, sacred spaces that held generations of traditions were reduced to ashes. At the center of it all was the royal palace, the symbol of Benin's power. It was looted, and then something even more significant happened. Thousands of artworks were taken: bronze plates, ivory carvings, sculptures that had been carefully created over centuries. Today, they are known as the Benin Bronzes. But they were never just art, they were history. They recorded the life of kings, the structure of the court, battles, rituals, and beliefs. They were the memory of the kingdom. And in a matter of days, that memory was scattered across the world. Oba Ewuare and Benin fled during the invasion, but was later captured. He was exiled. Within gone, the political structure of Benin collapsed. The kingdom lost its independence. It became part of British colonial rule. And just like that, one of Africa's most advanced civilizations was reduced in power. But history doesn't end with destruction. Today, the story of Benin continues. Across museums in Europe and America, many of the stolen bronzes still exist. For decades, there has been growing pressure for their return. Some institutions have begun to respond, others still hold on. But the conversation has changed, because this is no longer just about artifacts, it's about identity, it's about ownership, and it's about justice. The legacy of the Benin Kingdom still lives on, in its people, its tradition, and its influence on history. But its fall remains a powerful reminder that even the strongest kingdom can be brought down, not just by war, but by ambition, power, and control.